Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning back in. Really appreciate it. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome to Money Sense with Miss T, a financial wellness hub, empowering and equipping you to make sense of your money. So last week, we launched the second series, which is the debt series. And I was basically just sharing and unpacking just a personal story on how easily accessible debt is and how easy it is to end up with a mountain of debt. Now, if you haven't watched that video, that's probably the first place you want to go to. And then, yeah, because this video is basically meant to start addressing the process of how to actually get out of debt. So today we're just going to visit 5 areas or 5 simple steps to get out of debt. And I'm really hoping that this will help you on your journey to rehabilitating yourself. How to get out of debt. The first step is to make a decision to get out of debt or to reduce your debt significantly. So this year you would have decided that, you know what, my personal finance goal is to get out of debt or to reduce it significantly. And once you've made this decision and you are ready to stay committed and consistent in actually actualizing this financial goal, you need to stop. Yes, you need to stop using every line of credit to fund your lifestyle. You need to stop using that credit card, that overdraft facility. You need to stop using it to fund your holidays, to buy clothes, to buy food, to buy perfume, whatever the case is. You need to stop. Number 2, have a clear and written down vision of your debt landscape. And I'll explain in a bit in visual terms what a debt landscape looks like. So if you already have a budget, you've probably done 40% of the work, because in the budgeting template, I've actually sent this out for free. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check the description below in this YouTube video, or you can also follow me on my Facebook and actually download your budgeting template. So in that budgeting template, there's already a section that asks you questions around writing down your debt landscape, right? So writing down exactly who you owe, as well as your minimum payment. So that's already 40% of the work done. So let's go into the debt landscape and let me show you exactly what I mean in terms of defining and having a clear vision of what your debt landscape looks like. All right. Okay, so this is how you would go about defining your debt landscape. You'd start off by trying to understand who you owe, right? The service provider, the financial services provider, and understanding, of course, your lines of credit. So here, for example, I've got credit card. So you would have credit card and obviously the bank or the financial service provider with which you have the credit card, store cards, personal loans, student loans. You can have your mortgage here. You can also have your car loans, basically. So understand who you owe and write that down. The next step is to understand how much your outstanding balance is for each line of credit. And this is not very complex. It's not complicated at all. All you need to do is to just ask for that statement and read it very clearly and just basically get the sum total of how much you owe for the debt at the end of the day. And then the next section is to look at what your minimum payment is. And if you already have a budget, this is already done. So you know exactly how much you pay or how you go about servicing your debt on a monthly basis. This you can also get from your bank statement, because probably you have a debit order or a direct debit that goes off on a monthly basis. Then the last part is to again access your credit statements and get an understanding of the interest rates that you are being charged for each and every line of credit. So this is what we call your debt landscape. Understanding who you owe, understanding the outstanding balance, your minimum payments, as well as your interest rates. Now, before we get any further, I want us to just maybe pause a bit and talk about minimum payments. Guys, I want you to renew your mind when it comes to minimum payments. Minimum payments are designed to keep you in debt for the longest possible time. So if really your financial goal is to get out of debt as soon as possible, you probably don't want to service your debt by making minimum payments. Minimum payments are not your friend. You are going to have to make an effort to increase that amount on a monthly basis so that you don't stay in debt for an extended period of time, and also you don't end up paying more than you should. Okay, so this is just a calculator that I pulled from the internet. It's a free calculator, and basically we're going to make an example of one of our credit lines, which is a credit card. So our credit card from our previous example where we were doing the debt landscape was that we had a credit card and the balance of that credit card was 33,000 and the interest rate was 20.5 and the minimum payment was 700. So according to this calculator, it can tell you exactly how much interest you would have paid on the life of this debt, as well as how long it would take for you to pay this debt off. And according to this example, it would take you 97 months to pay the debt off, which is, I think, about 8 years or so. And basically, the month paid off period would be May 2029. But if we just put in a little bit more, you'll see how that significantly changes the time period. So let's say we add another 700 Rand. Let's say we hustle and we get another 700 Rand that we can pay towards this debt. And you will see that your term basically changes significantly from 97 to 31 months to pay. So instead of getting out of debt in 2029, you can actually get out of debt in 2023. Okay, the third process is for you to elect the debt strategy that best suits you. And for purposes of this video, I'm going to just talk about two strategies, and the rest of the strategies I think I'll address in my next video. And the two strategies that I want to talk about is the debt avalanche strategy as well as the debt snowball. Now back to the debt avalanche. When you choose or when you opt for the debt avalanche strategy, this is basically where you're saying that you want to basically pay off your debt, or rather you want to pay off your most expensive debt. So you would line up all your debts in the order of the interest rate, or rather in the order of their highest interest rate, and you would want to tackle the debt with the highest interest rate first in that order. And here, really, the maths makes perfect sense. The financial maths makes perfect sense. And this is an excellent strategy if your objective is to obviously save in terms of interest repayments. And I'm going to show you how you would go about setting this up in your debt landscape if the strategy you opt for is the debt avalanche. Okay, so the debt avalanche, this is a way, again, you would have lined up your debt, and really the order that you would follow here would be guided by the interest rates that you are incurring for every line of credit. So according to this example, the first debt that you would want to repay off would be the credit card, because if we look at the interest rates that you are incurring on this line of debt is 20.5. The next debt would be 18%. The next debt would be the personal loan. And then the last debt that you would want to tackle is basically the student loan. And that's basically the order of payments that you would want to follow. So you are ignoring outstanding balance, and you are ignoring the minimum payments in your decision making in terms of which debt to tackle first. So the second strategy is the debt snowball, and this one is my personal favorite. It's the one that I have helped a lot of my coaching clients. And basically, this one completely disregards the cost of debt, so interest, so paying off your most expensive debt. But this one basically is saying, let's focus on small recurring wins. So line up your debt from smallest to biggest and try to attack the smallest debt first. And the idea here is that when you see yourself winning with one debt, you develop what we call gazelle intensity to go for the next debt. So we all like winning, right? And when you see yourself win, you are most likely to want to continue winning. So I'm going to show you how you'd go about doing that in your debt landscape. So this is what you would do. You would line up your debt again, but this time you would line it up in the order of the lowest outstanding debt. So according to our example, our store debt is the one that we are going to tackle first because our outstanding balance is the least at 10,000. The next debt we're going to tackle is the credit card, personal loan, and lastly, the student loan. So this is where the snowball effect comes into play, right? So let's say really we've exhausted our options, we've gone to the budget, there is no way of trimming our expenses, and we have no way of earning additional income, right? All we have is the minimum payment of 500 Rand. So what we'd do is we would continue to pay all our debts, right? All our debts, minimum payments, and basically channel our energies towards paying the first debt first. And once you've paid the first debt first, right? You've paid it off, you've smashed it. What then happens is that we would move to the second debt. And this is where the snowball effect comes to play. Instead of going haywire and using this 500 Rand that you would have been paying towards your store card, you now channel it, because now in your budget, think about it, it's an unallocated amount, right? Now you would want to channel it to the next debt. So instead of paying a minimum payment for this credit card of 700 Rand, now all of a sudden you've got 1,200 to pay towards this debt. So you are making the effort even more. So the snowball effect. So one effort gives birth to a greater effort, and the cycle continues. By the time you're finished paying off your credit card and you move to personal loan, you will have 3,500 Rand that you would want to then pay over to the personal loan. So you don't get derailed. You don't get derailed and think you've got 500 Rand and 700 Rand that you can do, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Because remember, here we've got the goal, we've set our financial goal, and we're clear that we are getting out of debt in the quickest possible time. So yeah, this is how you'd go about doing the snowball effect. And really, I've got this picture that just illustrates basically the trajectory in which you would be going when you see yourself making those small wins. Number 4, find the money, right? Remember, we're still talking about steps to get out of debt. So the fourth step that you want to go after is finding the money. And this is where having a budget is crucial, guys. I actually think I'll never stop talking about the importance of having a budget. Now, if you think about how a budget is set up, right, it's got two very important sections. So the first one would be the income section, and then you have the expense section. So let's start with the expense section. In my some of my videos, I think I'll just link them above or below somewhere. We talked about how you can go about just basically understanding your financial landscape by understanding your bank statement, right? And that was supposed to just start the process of helping you to see ways in which you can trim your budget, right? So yeah, basically trim your expenses. So you want to basically, like I said in the previous video, you want to look out for areas where you've been wasteful. In your spending. You want to look out for areas where you are being debited, or what do you call it, direct debits, and you don't know what those direct debits are for. You want to look out for subscriptions where you're no longer subscribed, or where you're no longer actually using the service for which you have subscribed. And the fourth area is bank charges. So you want to look at these 4 areas, and these are usually areas where there is a lot of money that's just sitting there that can be used and to basically channel towards you achieving your financial goal. And remember, in this instance, our financial goal is to get out of debt. So this exercise will help you basically find that extra 500, extra £100, extra $50 in order for you to then rechannel it towards achieving or increasing that minimum debt payment that we spoke about. The next level is to look at the income part of the of the budget, right? And that's why we've got multiple lines, because I don't want you to ever think that all you can ever do is to get a salary. But now let's assume that you are a salaried employee. So I want you to start thinking about ways in which you can use your skills, your talents, to basically start thinking about ways to earn additional streams of income. And this can be done, like, guys, you can go to town, and I don't want you to stress about it. I don't want you to start thinking about, building businesses with massive overheads that are going to stress you. Just simple things that can result in you making an extra buck, a day. So think about it this way. This is a simple way of actually thinking about side hustles or additional streams of income. Calculate how much your daily rate is at work. So take your gross income and divide it by the number of days that you work, and you should be able to get your daily rate, right? I know when I did mine, it shocked me, and I was just like, this is not right. But anyway, you do that exercise, and let's say you find that you make 500 Rand a day. So find things that you can do that will earn you 500 Rand. So think about it. If you can earn 500 Rand on a Saturday and a Sunday, that's 1,000 Rand that can go towards reducing this debt, right? So find ways to basically increase your income potential. I'll give you a few examples, and I think I must actually do a video on side hustles or additional streams of income. Think about online tutoring, guys. You could literally be sitting in South Africa and tutoring someone sitting somewhere in Vietnam who wants to learn how to speak English. I can you guys know how to speak English. There are online tutoring platforms out there that can pay you what, $20 an hour? That's 300 Rand just for you sitting down and teaching someone somewhere in the world to speak English. So think about that. Think about the things that you are highly competent in. It could be maths, it could be science, it could be accounting. I know someone who's doing accounting tutoring. It can also be English. Think about au pairing. Parents are like inundated. They are so overwhelmed with the many errands and the homeworks they need to do for their kids. So take advantage of that. If you have a car, take advantage of the au pairing service. Think about what else can you do. You could do hair. You could plait hair. I'm still looking for someone to do my hair here overseas because it's tough. You could bake cakes. I mean, the list is endless, but I think you get the point. You could even do deliveries, on Take a Lot, deliveries on Amazon. The list is endless, and I think I'll actually do a proper video where we talk all things side hustles. But the point I am trying to make is find the money that can supplement that minimum repayment so that we can accelerate the term that we take to actually get out of debt. And in the process, we will also learn that we will save a whole lot in the long run. Number 5, have a debt freedom date and stay committed and consistent on your journey to being debt free, right? So I'll show you in a bit how to go about setting that debt freedom date. There is a calculator online that you can upload for free that can basically help you determine when you will actually be out of debt. And I've done this exercise with a lot of professionals on a weekly basis, where I basically do financial coaching. And really, as soon as people see that actually they're going to, if they continue paying, their debt or servicing their debt in the way that they've been doing it in the past, they will be out of debt in 2025. And as soon as they see that date, they're just like, there's just no way I'll be debt free in 2025. I want to do better. I want to be better. So I know that these things help. Having deadlines help. And I mean, in my previous video, I speak about how it's so important for you when you set your financial goals to have a deadline, to not just be random about this year I'm saving, this year I'm getting out of debt, but to actually have a date. And what happens is that when you have this date, you will start moving in the direction of achieving this goal even quicker. And really, that's what I found. As soon as people see that they basically have one date that they've smashed and they've cut out that card, they are just like, Tendo, let's keep going. Let's cut the next one in the quickest possible time. So let me show you how to go about determining what your debt freedom date will be. So let's go back to the calculator. Basically, the first step you want to do is to set the correct date. So the date at which you would have pulled the outstanding balance for your debt, right? So again, you just take the numbers from the debt landscape that I showed you earlier, and you just paste it into this template. You just paste it into this template, put in the balance outstanding, as well as the interest rates and the minimum repayments, right? And it will show you that at the end of the day, on a monthly basis, you are basically paying 7,500 towards paying off your debt. So let's say that's all you have, right? Let's say all you have is the minimum payments to pay towards the debt. So depending on which strategy you're going to opt for, so let's say we've selected the snowball effect where we are paying our debt from smallest to biggest. It then starts telling you that according to this, according to the way that you are paying this debt, you will be out of debt. Rather, for the store card, you'll be out of debt in 24 months. So 2023, you'll be out of debt. And yeah, it gives you a summary basically of every credit line. And right at the end, it will tell you when you will be debt free, like from your entire debt, which is August 2025. These are very important numbers. These are very important dates to keep in mind when you have a vision, when you have a financial goal, when you have debt to smash. Right, and lastly, we spoke about the importance of staying committed to the course as well as consistent. And I'm just going to read a quote that I think is so befitting by Denzel Washington. He says, "Without commitment, you will never start, and without consistency, you will never finish." So I want to encourage you and I want to challenge you to really stay committed and stay the course until you get to a place where you are comfortable with the level of debt that you want. I know there are people who are comfortable with just paying their mortgage. But yeah, depending on what your financial goal and your financial landscape looks like, just stay the course, stay committed, and stay consistent. And one of the ways in which you can stay committed and stay consistent in achieving your goal is having an accountability partner. And this can take the form of your friend or your partner, as well as a financial coach. Now, I'm really hoping that this video has opened your eyes and really encouraged you or given you some form of courage to, look your debt in the eye, and instead of, fearing it, actually understanding it and coming up with strategies to actually get out of debt. Because I can understand if you have a mountain of debt, it can be crippling, can be discouraging, it can be very stressful, but you don't have to be stuck. There are solutions out there. If you really you are not able to see some form of light at the end of the tunnel, raise your hand and ask for help. There is no reason for you to stay in bondage for the rest of your life. Now, in my next video, I will basically be answering a few of the questions that I have been receiving. And really, if you have any questions that are debt related, please feel free to comment on or rather ask me on the comment section below. Yes, so yeah, some of the things that I'll be talking about are renegotiating your interest rates, debt consolidations, credit scores, very important, as well as the topic around to save or to pay off a debt now. Now, if this is your kind of content, please do yourself a favor and subscribe, like, and push that notification button. And really, please, guys, let me know which strategy best suits you, or which strategy you think you are going to elect when you do start your journey to debt freedom. The debt snowball or the debt avalanche. I'm really excited to find out what your thoughts are on that.